Welcome to today's session. My name is Henry. If this is your first time here, please like, follow, share, turn on your notifications so that way when we drop new SAP material management, source to pay, or interview related content, you'll be the first to see that. That being said, you can also follow me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn account is Henry Okon. And we also help new SAP consultants who are trying to navigate into the world of SAP become SAP experts. We do have 2 months crash course that has helped numerous SAP consultants kickstart their career. And we also have consultants who have landed their first SAP job. Big congratulations to them. And that could be you in just 2 months. That being said, I also have 10 plus years of experience within SAP material management, source to pay, P2P full end-to-end, other integrations like finance experience, SD, EWM, ALE, and EDI, IDOC. Today's session is going to be centered on a very important topic. So this topic is new to the SAP S/4HANA space, and it has to do with the cost element configuration. So if you know that within the cost element configurations for SAP ECC, it was previously separated from the GL account. But right now in SAP S/4HANA, we would need to configure the cost element for cost center into a default account assignment. A lot of companies are looking for SAP material management consultants or P2P or source to pay or supply chain consultants who have experience in both configuration for direct material procurement and indirect material procurement. So if your business environment is going to be executing purchase orders for indirect material procurement, such as services, purchase orders, expense, assets, fixes and fixtures, and so on, you would need to know this configuration. I just want to take this moment and talk about this particular SAP system that we're going to be using for this training. So this is our own SAP system that we use for practice purposes. This is a clean SAP system. If you are looking for an SAP system like this, where you can log in and practice, please feel free to contact me, and I'll be more than happy to share all the information with you. Now, as you can see, this SAP system is the latest version. And you can see right here, SAP Fiori for SAP S/4HANA 2023. So if you're interested, let me know and I can help you. Now, this system also has been well configured. So we've configured a couple of company codes. And for us to be able to maintain the cost element, cost center assignment to our company code for account assignment, that needs to have happened. You need to create a company code. So what we need to do here is we need to go to the new entries and you need to look for your company code. So I've created a couple of company codes, company code US29 I have created, and I also created ZUS1, right? But now there are things that you would need to have done from the controlling perspective for us to even be able to execute the OKB9 configuration. So you can go to controlling and you go to SAP Easy Access, SAP Display IMG, and you can go here to controlling. And again, I know that this has more to do with finance, but we also need to have some basic understanding of what needs to happen in case the business is requiring that. The reason why they're not able to create a purchase order, or maybe the reason why they're not able to create an indirect purchase order and track, the cost element and the cost centers correctly, is because the configuration has not been done in OKB9, and that conversation comes to your table. You know exactly what you're looking for when you go to the back end. So here we can go to controlling, and we can go here to the profit center accounting. And then here we can go to the basic, and you want to go to the set controlling areas, okay? So in this scenario, we have different kinds of controlling area. I want us to start off by looking at the controlling area for ZUS1. And then after that, you're going to click into the controlling area settings, and then you're going to go to the maintain controlling area settings. So you can see here that we already have a controlling area settings for ZUS1. And then secondly, we also have another one, because I'm using two different controlling area in this exercise. You can see we also have this one here for YBPH. However, there's no dummy profit center. There was a different video that I shared on how to create a dummy profit center. You can watch that and learn how to create a dummy profit center. This is required to be done. And you can see, the main idea is we do have a standard hierarchy here for this one. That being said, the next thing that needs to happen after you have ensured that you have your controlling areas being maintained, you can go to the front end of the SAP system and also make sure that within the accounting tab, you go into controlling. And then here you can go to the cost center accounting, master data, standard hierarchy. And within the screen, we can also check for the different cost centers that are available. So like I mentioned that I've created a cost center already for US 29 company code. So you can see that that is my cost center ZUS 29, okay? I created this and it is also activated, right? If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can see that it is also activated here. And then we can also check out for the second controlling area. So I'm going to back out of this screen, and what we can do is a very interesting way that I like to control the system, especially when the system is not necessarily showing me how I can make changes to my controlling area. So we can go into the same radio button. And here we have the option of changing what we are able to see. So let's just look for that button so that we can set the controlling area. So here we're going to set this controlling area to set US1 and click continue. And now it is giving us the controlling area for ZUS1. And you can see here that within the controlling area, I have the standard hierarchy as EITLLC. And we also have all the different cost centers, okay? So now that you can see that my cost center is also being maintained for my company code US21, which was the whole essence of coming to this screen. Now you can see that if I go here, I already do have company code US29 and ZUS1. One more thing that needs to happen is it is also a front-end transaction that we can execute. You can go to a new window, which was I was about to go to a new window and go to FS00 and then open up to this screen. You can go through the transaction code or you can go through the menu drop-down, okay? And for the menu drop-down, you can also just back out of this screen and you can open up this screen right here. So the same menu part, accounting, controlling, cost center, accounting, and here you can go to FS00, and then you can open up that screen, okay? So depending on whichever option you're choosing to go for, it would still allow you to be able to access the screens, okay? So here we can go to FS00 centrally via the accounting, financial accounting, general ledger, master data, and FS00. We can also do that in charts of accounts or in company code, okay? So let's just open it centrally. And here you can see that for our company code ZUS1, if you go to the controlling data, we now have the option of assigning our cost element category by default to this company code's cost center. So if you are wanting to do that, what you need to do first is you need to click into the change mode, and then you can select this drop down, and then you want to select number 101 for primary cost, and hit enter on your keyboard, primary cost and cost reducing revenue. You can also click the check screen data. And if the data contains no errors, you can hit save. And the data was saved. Similarly, we can also make sure for US 29, for this GL account, it's already there for this scenario. And then you just want to copy that GL account. I'm just going to keep this in change mode so the system doesn't throw an error message saying we need to go out of the GL account. And now we can come to transaction code OKB9. And here I'm just going to add those cost elements. Like I said earlier on, if you're well acquainted with what has changed between ECC and S4HANA, you will realize that the cost element was separate in ECC, but now in SAP S4HANA, we will have to assign a default account assignment. And then also we need to select what cost center we need to add to this particular configurations. So here, I'm going to make sure that the system is looking for the correct controlling, since I'm using two different controlling areas in this scenario. So these are the controlling areas that are there. So we've created this one, and we have also created this one. So in my case, I'm going to choose this one, okay? And then for the ZUS1, I'm going to make sure I use the controlling area that is relevant, which is ZUS1 as well. And I'm going to click continue. Also make sure that you update the company code to the correct company code. Okay. And then we're going to click continue. So there are a couple of them that I created. So let's say, for instance, I want to keep this one for administration, okay? So this is very important to the business for you to understand the mapping. And this is the mapping that we're doing right now. So we're mapping this configuration so that way they're going to be creating, these are two different company codes. Assuming the business has two different company codes, you want to make sure that you map it out correctly like that as well. So I'm going to choose the one for administration. And we can also create individual ones for the remaining ones that we have here, if it's the business requirement. Hit enter on your keyboard, no error messages, and that's pretty much all you need to do. You don't even need to enter the profit center in this scenario. You can leave it blank, and then you can hit save. And we can just say default account assignment to cost center. US 29. All right, and then hit save. Done. Back out of it. And now if you scroll down, you would see that we have those assignments, okay? So this is one of the assignments, and then this is the other one. And that's all we need to do, okay? Now you can even select this and go to the details of the business areas, and you can see that we haven't done anything there. Similarly, we can do the same, or we can even check the profit centers. You can see we haven't done anything. So as per the default SAP, this is all we need to configure right now, okay? And that's pretty much all we need to do for this particular transaction. I hope this video will be helpful for you to be able to understand how you can assign your cost center that you maintained for your controlling area to your GL accounts with FS00, and how you can also maintain that information into OKB9 for your default account assignment. This is going to be very helpful to the business. And I'll share more information with you in the next session. Thank you for joining, and have a good night. Bye-bye.